Hi, my name is Tim and I'm in Klaipeda in Lithuania.
I'm spending a few days in the lovely port city of Klaipeda to explore the history, beaches and nightlife. In this video, we'll also have a look at a day trip to the seaside resort of Palanga. Lastly, we take a trip to Kretinga to taste a slower, more traditional Lithuanian way of life. This part of our Lithuanian adventure starts by catching the train from Vilnius to Klaipeda. The train takes just under 4 hours to travel from one side of Lithuania to the other through glorious scenic countryside. The ticket price compared to UK prices was very cheap, and for just a little bit extra, we were able to travel in first class, including some free refreshments. We found it to be an efficient and easy way to travel around Lithuania. We've arrived in Klaipeda and we're lucky enough to be staying in our friend Jörger's beautiful apartment with stunning views of the treetops. We're heading into the city centre to start exploring. Jörger has kindly arranged for a local guide called Margarita to look after us. She was fantastic, and if you'd like her details, message me in the comments below. Let's start off in Theatre Square in the heart of the old town, with its impressive neoclassical theatre building. There's a fountain in the square dedicated to the cherished poet Simon Dag, who was born in Klaipeda. It features a sculpture of a girl called Anne. It's said that the poet fell in love with her at first sight, which led to him writing a popular poem about her. We've heard another story about the statue. It said when Hitler visited Klaipeda, he appeared on the balcony of the theatre and was annoyed that the girl had her back to him, and he ordered for it to be removed. The day we visited, there was a market selling lots of local crafts, souvenirs and amber jewellery. The city has a complex history, partially due to its strategic location on the Baltic Sea, making it highly prized. At various times, the city has been part of the Teutonic Order, the Duchy of Prussia, part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It's been under French occupation, part of the German Empire, the Soviet Empire, until its eventual independence. It's understood the city was named Memmelberg by the Teutonic Knights and then shortened to Memel. There are references to the current name Klaipeda dating back to the 15th century. It's likely the name originates from an ancient word meaning boggy ground. The Down-Air River, which flows through the heart of the city, has always been fundamental to the success of Klaipeda. Where the river meets the Baltic Sea, it creates an ice-free port, which has been critical for both defence and shipping trade. The sight of a warship moored on the river is a reminder of the threat the Baltic states continue to live under, although it's now a ship museum. The ship is called M52 Suduvis and served in the Lithuanian army for 22 years, although it was originally German. It's open to visit, and you can find out about the history of the ship and the Navy's presence in this strategic region. The river is a real focal point of activity for the city, with lots to enjoy on the water, or you can visit one of the many cafes and restaurants that line its riverbanks for a lazy lunch during the day. On one side of the river, you can see the classical City Hall building dating back to the late 18th century, where King Frederick William III of Prussia and Queen Louise lived during the Napoleonic Wars. In front stands the Fisherman Monument as a tribute to the city's fishing heritage. You can't miss an impressive sailing ship called Meridianus. It was built in Finland in 1948 and was lucky to survive the Second World War. It's needed various repairs and funding and has changed ownership over the years to keep it as a symbol and popular feature of the river. It's now home to a restaurant if you want to have a meal on board. Walking out of the city centre towards the port, you pass old warehouses, loading areas and factories which supported the city's rich heritage as a significant seaport on the Baltic Sea, the only seaport in Lithuania. The city is also now using its harbour to welcome an increasing number of cruise ships, which are bringing new visitors and, most importantly, tourist money to the local economy. Cruise passengers spend time in Klaipeda, but are also taking tours around the local region. Why not take a ride on the city's 40-metre high Ferris wheel to enjoy the views? Or have a relaxing stroll around the pretty marina. Klaipeda Castle, or otherwise known as Memel Castle, is an archaeological site and museum housed in a castle built by the Teutonic Knights. The first records of the castle date back to 1252. During the 19th century, the castle lost its strategic importance and was demolished. The museum opened in 2002, and the castle has been undergoing restoration ever since. As you stroll around, you can see the grassy mounds which would have been part of the castle's defences. In this area, you can see a fascinating model, which is a reconstruction of an historic street scene. Close to the harbour, you can find an intriguing feature of technical heritage, the oldest swing or chain bridge in the Baltics. It was built in 1855 of riveted iron and decorated with chains. The mechanism of the bridge is manual, and it requires two people to turn the bridge to open and close the access channel to enable boats to pass. It's opened every hour for 15 minutes, and the rest of the time it's a point of crossing for pedestrians. It's the only bridge of its kind in Lithuania. Next to the bridge, you'll see a creepy statue of a hooded figure hauling itself out of the water. The bronze sculpture is known as the Black Ghost. The legend behind the statue is not scary at all. It's said a castle guard saw a ghost who warned the city would need more supplies of grain to manage a bleak few years of hunger, and the people of Klaipeda only survived because of the ghost's warnings. As our day started to turn into evening, we decided to check out the views and the cocktails at the city's Sky Bar. The Sky 21 terrace offers panoramic views of the city and the Coronian Spit. It's a great place to enjoy sunset. They serve food as well as drinks, and it's particularly popular at the weekends. Later on in the evening, it takes on more of a nightclub vibe. Back on the ground, the riverside bars and restaurants were buzzing with atmosphere, with lots of people out eating and drinking and having a great time. The next morning, we're heading back into the old town area of the city again and using the local buses, which we found to be a quick and efficient way to travel around the city. The old town part of the city has cobblestone streets, pretty squares and fountains. Klaipeda has its own character which differs from other Lithuanian cities because of its unique history, having been occupied by so many foreign forces over the centuries. In the old town, a lot of the architectural influence is German, and many timber-framed buildings still remain. There is a small ethnic cultural centre displaying an exhibition of traditional costumes and accessories from the Klaipeda region. It highlights the distinctive features of the clothes, influenced by the Lutheran traditions and with historical ties to Prussia. Costumes often include pleated skirts, aprons with intricate patterns and embroidery, and headwear such as braided bonnets. In one of the squares you can see a bronze sculpture with the simple title of Tower. It stands in the place where a house burnt down in the Second World War. It celebrates Klaipeda's residents and traditions. Although a lot of the architecture in the old town is German, the outbreak of the Second World War eventually led to the evacuation of the German population of Klaipeda as Soviet forces advanced in 1944 to 1945. Many churches were damaged during the Second World War or were destroyed by the Soviets during their occupation. In their place today, you can often see bells as an enduring and poignant reminder of the faith and history of the original buildings. In a central location, you'll find the open space of Jonas Hill. It represents the remains of an old fortification. It's a lovely area to enjoy concerts, have a picnic, or just a stroll around the water's edge. On the roof of this restaurant and bar building, you will see a chimney sweep sculpture. It's considered good luck to touch the button of a chimney sweep to bring good fortune. One of our dear Lithuanian friends is a chimney sweep, and he's very special, and I'm sure he brings good luck to everyone he meets. For our next stop, we're leaving the tree-lined streets of the old town for a much more modern side of Klaipeda. We're heading to a huge shopping mall called Acropolis, which wouldn't look out of place in any American city. It's full of shops, restaurants and bars. It's so big it even has its own train. Great fun for the kids, and some aspects feel more like a theme park than a shopping mall. It's an amazing place with lots to keep everyone entertained. As well as the shops and the many themed dining options, there's a trampoline adventure zone, it has its own bowling alleys, and even an ice skating rink. In the height of the summer, late afternoon is a great time to head to the beach with its cooling sea breeze. Today we're visiting the lively Melnaraje beach. The beach has a number of bars and places to eat near the main entrance. As you can see from the video, it gets very popular when the weather is good. If you're looking for a little bit more solitude, you can walk to the far end of the beach. There's a huge expanse of sand if you want to find a quiet spot. It's enjoyed blue flag status since 2001, and there are lifeguards in the summer if you want to take a swim in the Baltic. The beach is easily reached from Klaipeda's city centre. You can drive, take public transport or even walk, making it convenient for both the locals and tourists. We had a wonderful time having fun with our Lithuanian family, enjoying some drinks and food as we relaxed and watched the sun setting over the Baltic Sea. We're back in the centre of Klaipeda to soak up its lively atmosphere with the many restaurants and bars by the river. This was one of our favourite parts of the city. It's vibrant and fun and a great place to enjoy some socialising with friends. Our particular favourite was a restaurant and bar called Geisarene, which means fire station. It's easily recognisable by its large terrace and its striking red umbrellas. The food is a mixture of American and European, with some Lithuanian traditional cuisine thrown in as well. The beers, wines and cocktails were good and the staff were super friendly, and it was a fun feel whether you sat inside in the restaurant or relaxed on the riverside terrace. I definitely recommend it. Dinner and drinks were a great way to end another wonderful day in Klaipeda. We're excited to start a new day driving to the popular seaside resort of Palanga. It's located on the Baltic Sea, around half an hour's drive from the city. It's approximately 31 kilometres. There's a cheap and reliable bus service if you don't have a car. We're entering Palanga's beautiful botanical park, designed in the late 19th century. It spans over 100 hectares and features forests, flower beds, ponds, and walking and cycling paths. The park is home to the Palanga Amber Museum, housed in a neo-Renaissance palace built in 1897. The palace was originally owned by the Tiskevicius family and served as their summer residence. It remained in their ownership until World War II, when it fell under Soviet rule. The palace has a beautiful rose garden formally laid out at the front. The museum is dedicated to the exhibition and preservation of amber. It boasts one of the largest collections in the world, with over 30,000 pieces, including 4,500 on display. Visitors can learn about the geological origins of amber and see ancient artifacts through to modern artistic creations. It was fascinating to see some of the insects contained in the amber, dating back to up to 50 million years. The museum also gives you an insight into what life was like for the noble family in their palace by the seaside. There's a gift shop if you'd like to buy some amber to take home with you, and a lovely cafe overlooking the formal gardens. There are lovely lawns and more colourful flowers at the back of the palace, with fountains and statues, and a lovely lake to stroll around. Leaving the Amber Museum behind, we followed a path through the forest. There are many trails to explore. We followed one of the pathways leading to the beach. Palanga is the largest and busiest resort in Lithuania. It's known for its extensive sandy beaches that stretch 18 kilometres long and up to 300 metres wide, often with large sand dunes. Palanga has an international airport which provides a convenient link for tourists visiting the area, as well as being easily accessible by road. The combination of natural beauty, cultural heritage, and fun tourist activities make it a favoured destination for both locals and international visitors seeking relaxation and recreation in an established seaside holiday resort. There's a wooden pier which extends 470 metres into the Baltic Sea and is popular for fishing and leisurely strolls to enjoy the views. There is a Ferris wheel which also offers great views of the Baltic Sea and the surrounding area. I'm going to have a go at pronouncing the name of the main street in Palanga. It's Jono Basanavichos, and it's a lively pedestrian thoroughfare lined with lots of cafes, restaurants, shops and entertainment options, providing a hub for the resort during the day and night. In this area, you'll see a number of street stalls selling fried fish, which is a local delicacy and very popular in Palanga. We decided to try a Ukrainian restaurant located in a side street. It's a lovely restaurant with a cosy inside seating area and a great garden area if you want to eat outside when the weather is warm. It specialises in Ukrainian traditional food such as stews, dumplings and pancakes, and we had great service and an opportunity to experiment with some new flavours and delicious tastes. The church close to the main street is the neo-Gothic Catholic Church of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. It has an observation platform in its tower and we climbed the steep stairs to enjoy the panoramic view. The church has impressive architecture built using many different types of red bricks with intricate details such as pointed arches, rosette windows and decorative friezes. Leaving the lovely holiday resort behind, we're back on the road and visiting Kretinga, about 15 kilometres drive from Palanga. It's one of Lithuania's oldest towns with a rich cultural heritage. We've stopped at the Kretinga Museum, which is housed in a grand manor house dating back to the 16th century, once home to noble families, and has a winter garden featuring many exotic plants including banana trees and cacti. Built in 1875, the Winter Garden was the largest private conservatory in Europe at the time. It's home to Japanese carp and terrapins in its pond, as well as chattering canaries, creating an exotic atmosphere. The Winter Garden also has a restaurant if you'd like to dine in a jungle-like setting. It's lovely to spend some time in the warm surroundings of the Winter Garden with its lush plants, trees and flowers and get up close to the fish and animals. The museum also has an interesting display of exhibits belonging to the noble family who once lived in the manor house. The museum is set in lovely gardens and there's a picture-perfect lake at the back of the house. Across the road from the main museum, you will find the Centre for Traditional Crafts. The centre focuses on preserving and showcasing traditional Lithuanian craft making. They offer educational programs where you can learn how to make various crafts such as pottery or bread making. As you stroll around the grounds to the craft centre, you will see a small bridge over a stream. As well as looking pretty, this has important historical significance. In 1878, a small hydropower plant was installed to utilise the energy of the flowing water from the manor's water mill. It was used to generate electricity to power the manor house and the winter garden. It was the first of its kind in Lithuania. From the road, you get a stunning view of the manor house and its picturesque lake. Next, we've made a quick drive to a beautiful place called Vienkemis, located just outside of Kretinga. It describes itself as a homestead offering accommodation, a restaurant, leisure facilities, entertainment and a museum set in a stunning valley. It opened in 1995 and has grown into a complex with a lot to offer visitors. First of all, we had a glimpse into the history of Kretinga. There is a barn on display which is 195 years old, displaying lots of examples of old farming equipment, showcasing traditional Lithuanian rural life. The complex is set in lovely grounds. A fun feature is a swing bridge they call the Monkey Bridge. It's a pedestrian bridge over the water which sways as you cross, so you need to walk carefully, but it's a fun experience. The bridge leads to a mini zoo on the other side. It houses some cute alpacas, chickens, rabbits, goats, and other animals which you can interact with and get up close and friendly with. Here you'll also find what they describe as their dwarf village. It features mini houses, a wooden church, a windmill, and other mini buildings for children and even adults to explore. There is a large body of water, which they describe as a pond, but it seems more like a lake to me. It offers a range of recreational activities, including boating and fishing. The water overflows into a weir, which then flows gently through the complex. There's a great restaurant offering seating inside and out and serves a mix of Lithuanian and European dishes. We were interested to try the famous traditional pink beetroot soup. Our friend Jurga explains what it is.
It's a Lithuanian pink soup, traditional soup, made from beetroot, kefir, cucumber, and spring onions.
It was more delicious than we were expecting, and we really enjoyed it. It was wonderful to spend some time at the beautiful Vienkemis, and I highly recommend it. I was really excited to spot a stork on the drive back to Klaipeda. The white stork is the national bird of Lithuania, symbolising family, prosperity and harmony. They play a significant role in Lithuanian culture and folklore. They often nest on telegraph poles during the spring and summer before migrating to Africa. A huge thank you to Jurga and the family for showing us so much of glorious Lithuania.
I've had a wonderful time in Klaipeda. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to see some more of my travels, please click subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching. Goodbye.